What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream. Happy Friday, people. The weekend is upon us, and looking forward to another game before the international break starts, which listen, man, the international break is what it is. You just got to take it as an opportunity to chill a little bit and reset and maybe go on holiday or whatever. But big up to everyone. Thank you for tuning in on this Friday. We'll be previewing the game against Sunderland. A couple of players, possibly, maybe one player back for this game from injury. And obviously a familiar face back on the training ground, as you can see from the thumbnail. I hope everyone is well. Hit the like button and subscribe. And YouTube going mad with the notification. I don't understand what YouTube is doing with these notifications. I really don't. You know, you set up streams and people don't get notified. But listen, have a look every day around 1:30. Maybe around 1:32, 1:33. Victor said it's my birthday next week. Let's hope the team wins it for me. Happy birthday. Ash says, big up, bro. More than a 9, guys. Anyway, Curtis Shaw's football manager players traits arrive late in the box. Hey, I did get football manager actually. I did get it. I haven't played it much, but I did buy it. Caught you live for the first time in a while. Big up the C unit. Big up Curtis doing God's work. Big up to man like Dan. Big up Stan who said it's Friday then. It's Saturday, Sunday. Hey, we're here, man. Yeah, David, hopefully I will have the intro back, man. If I showed you the amount of emails I've had to send. But yeah, it's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Big up TC Mon. It's my birthday today, Big C. Can I get a shout out? Happy birthday on your birthday. Lewis says, big up Big C. Sneak listen at work. I hear it. Just don't get caught, you know. Don't get caught. But yeah, anyway, let's move on. Few things to talk about. Let's get through it. And we'll then preview the Sunderland game and this, that, the other. The England squad came out this morning. Thomas Tuchel dropped the England squad at 10 o'clock this morning. And this is the England squad, not the... I mean, they're already qualified. So really, he could have actually experimented a little bit, but decided not to really. In terms of Arsenal, people... no Ben White, who, listen, I don't think Ben White's going to get in the England squad anyway. Doesn't start for Arsenal, and they've got Trent, Reece James, Livramento, Spence. I know a few of these guys are injured, Livramento, but Ben White ain't going near the World Cup. But Lewis Skelly was left out of the England squad. Now, I mean, it's tough because on one hand, he's not playing for Arsenal, and he's probably then not going to get in the England team. But on the other hand, are there many better left backs than him? He's gone with O'Reilly and Dan Burn. Dan Burn plays centre back. I suppose Spence has played left back a little bit as well. So Lewis Skelly's been left out. If you're Skelly, and I know a lot of people have been saying, you know, look, he's a young player, he's got time on his hands, but it must be a frustrating time at the moment for Skelly. He's ended up pretty much now the third choice left back with Calafiori and Nkapia, and then hasn't had a chance in midfield, and then obviously now not in the England squad. Tough time. He's got to really show some, you know, mental strength now, Lewis Skelly. Luke Shaw not in the squad. I don't think Luke Shaw, does he play for Man United? I honestly don't really check. So in terms of the full England squad, the goalkeepers, Henderson, Pickford and Pope. The defenders, Burn, Gahey, Reece James, Konza, O'Reilly, Kwanzaa. I mean, I haven't really seen Bayer Leverkusen, so you guys let me know. Is he playing over there? I don't really know. Jed Spence and John Stones. No Harry Maguire, who doesn't seem to get picked even if he is playing. I mean, if you're going into a World Cup, it's going to be Gahey and Stones. They did really well at the last Euros. At the moment, right back, you would have to go Reece James, but can he get through a whole tournament? You know, he's quite injury prone. Left back, I'd probably go Jed Spence. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know about that. Trent obviously not fully fit yet, he said. That's why he's not in the squad. But I think he'll play Reece James ahead of Trent anyway. Um, I'd still feel a little bit hard done by if I was Lewis Skelly. I don't think O'Reilly's necessarily a better left back than him. But yeah, it is what it is. The midfield, Elliot Anderson, Jude Bellingham, Jordan Henderson, who always seems to get picked, although he is playing quite well for Brentford, and apparently he's a leader in the dressing room. Declan Rice, of course, Arsenal's very own. Morgan Rogers. Alex Scott from Bournemouth. Well, I'll be honest, I haven't watched that much, but apparently he's been balling for them, and he played for the under-21s, England, when they won it. And Adam Wharton, who I think is a very good player. He's left out, I think he said Loftus-Cheek and Gibbs-White have been left out. And then into the attacking players, Jared Bowen, Eze from Arsenal, Foden, Anthony Gordon, Harry Kane, Marcus Rashford, and Arsenal's very own Bukayo Saka. And from my point of view, I hope that Saka and Rice do not feature that much in these two games. They've already qualified. Surely they don't need to be starting and getting 90 minutes. Give other players game time. Listen, England, we know, have got crazy amounts of talent. Interesting that Harry Kane is the only out-and-out striker in the squad. Obviously, Rashford can play up front, but no Ivan Toney, no Danny Welbeck, who they thought would get a call-up, no Ollie Watkins. So, heavy reliance on Kane there. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. With England, does it really matter? You know, you've seen great England teams. They don't seem to win. So yeah, it's interesting, but yeah, England. There's the England squad. No Miles Lewis-Skelly, no Ben White, and Eze, Saka, and Rice are in the squad. So we'll move on from that. People, international break around the corner. Welbeck did deserve a call-up, man. You know, if you're talking about form, he's in form. I know people will say, oh, he's 34, 35 years of age, but surely you've got to take a second striker. You know, you can't simply rely on Kane. And Welbeck has scored a lot of goals, and Rashford's not great up front. Initial SYG said, Big C, first comment. Do you think Jesus would have a better chance being our left wing option since he's more creative and can beat fullbacks more often? You've segued me in nicely there. Lawrence said Spain are going to win the World Cup. I think at this moment in time, they're the favourites. Spain, France, but you just never know with France because Deschamps will somehow squeeze players like, you know, Rabiot into the team. You know, realistically, France should have a front three of probably Mbappe, Dembele, and Elise. There ain't a better front three in the world than that in terms of international teams. But Deschamps sometimes messes that French team up. And Spain just keep the ball so well. Portugal, of course, have got a great team, but then they build around Ronaldo. Can you build around a guy that's 40, 41 years of age? I don't know. England are stacked, but England just never seem to win a tournament. Messi in probably his last World Cup, can he create history? So I think there's probably only 2 or 3 countries that I think can win this World Cup. Brazil, I just don't think Brazil are balanced. When I've watched them, there's something not quite right with Brazil. But you never know. You never know. Could we get a shock from elsewhere? I don't see it. France, Spain, probably the 2 favourites for me. But we'll see. I'm looking forward to the World Cup, actually. And I'm going to be going over there as well, hopefully. So, and hopefully the Reggae Boys make it, man. 2 games coming up. If they win them both, they will be at World Cup 2026, which will be incredible for the country with everything that's happening at the moment. And as I said, I will be doing a stream for Jamaica next week. He's back, people. He is back. Gabriel Jesus is on the training ground, training with the Arsenal team. And you know what? I'll be totally honest with you, people. Right? I'll be totally honest. I'd kind of wiped Jesus from my memory. I'm like, look, he's had major injuries, contract's up in 18 months, we got other players, he's done. You know, all of a sudden, when I seen him on the training video yesterday, I thought, you know what? That's a good player there. I mean, listen, I don't think you're ever going to see the Gabriel Jesus in the pink Arsenal kit or the black Arsenal kit that looked like a game changer in that first year. But that's a £45 million Premier League winning Brazilian international. That's not a bad player. That guy could end up being our third or fourth choice striker. You've got Gyökeres, you've got Marino, you've got Havertz, then you've got Gabriel Jesus. I mean, that seriously adds to the squad depth. I mean, listen, Don said this, stop the cap, I would sell him. Don, and I've said this before, big up Zane, he said, my broski, just here to show love and support, hands down the best channel on YouTube, no cap. I appreciate that, bro. Listen, let's be honest, right? Let's be totally honest. And I say this to Don, and I say this to all of the community, right? You cannot sell Gabriel Jesus in January. I don't mean that in terms of we shouldn't. I mean, you are not going to get a buyer for him. It's not happening, right? It's not going to happen. Nobody is going to buy a player on over £200,000 a week who's just come back from an ACL injury. Yeah, he's like a new signing. In the words of Wenger, you are not going to be able to sell him. The only thing you can do is loan him out. You can get him out on loan, which I think is actually probably the answer. But I think he's going to stay. And I think it's a good option. I mean, we could be absolutely stacked. Now, I think he could help on the left-hand side. He could help through the middle. They reckon he'll be available from December. Even though he's back now, they reckon he's going to need at least another 3 weeks of rehab on the pitch. But you need options. At the moment, guys, we've got 6 or 7 players injured. You are going to need all the options available possible. I mean, yeah, for me, if I was being honest, I would loan him out and go and sign somebody on that left-hand side. Leao, Yildiz, Semenyo, Rodrigo. I've spoken about it so many times. I'm like a broken record. That's what I would do because he's got another year left on his contract next season. What I would be trying to do is, can we get him to a level that we can sell him in the summer? You know? But he's going to stay. I'm almost certain he's going to stay. Arteta loves him, and I think they're going to bring him in as a squad player. Leao recently said he wants to move to the Prem. Well, you know my opinions on Leao. Bring him to the carpet. Listen, like I said, I don't think he's going to be at that level that we saw when he first came through, but as a squad player, as somebody that can be used in rotation if he's fit, I think he would be a good option. But if I'm being totally honest, this summer I would be looking to sell Jesus and Havertz. And I know I'm putting a downer on a positive situation a little bit at the moment, but I would get rid of both of them in the summer. Too many injuries, not enough goals, massive wages. Get both of them out the door for me, and then bring in another striker to go and compete with Gyökeres. That's what I would be doing. You know, I think Jesus on 250 grand a week, Havertz on 275. You can't have two players of that level on over £500,000 a week. You know, I would get rid of both of them and get somebody else in. Somebody that's got a better fitness record and somebody that can challenge Gyökeres. But listen, from his point of view, good to see him back. As I said, people saying sell him, you ain't going to be able to sell him. That's like selling a car with no tyres, with a rattling noise and oil leaking. You know, no one's buying. No one's buying, you know. But good to see him back. You know, it's a big character. Let's see how he gets on. We need squad depth. Two years ago, Gabriel Jesus was our starting striker that we were relying on to try and win us the league. Realistically, he's our fourth choice striker. That's the progression we've made, because it would be Gyökeres, Marino, Havertz, and then him. So that shows the progression. Osimhen would be, his wages, I think that's why nobody in the Prem signed him. His wages are huge. So I think that boat, we may have missed that boat, but maybe at some stage he'll want to leave. No one in football deserves a title more than Arteta. Do I agree with that? I'm not sure. I think sometimes in football, you have to earn those things. How do you deserve a title as a manager? By getting close? I think titles are earned. I don't think you do or don't deserve them. I think if you're good enough, you will achieve it. If you've been backed properly, which he has, then I think he will show whether he's worthy. I think you've got to be worthy of a title. You know, so that's what he has to earn. Carl with no tyres is insane. Yeah, just dragging along the concrete, metal on the concrete. But now, good to see Jesus back. Good to see him back. Yeah, you earn a Premier League title, man. It's not like, oh, you're a nice guy, you deserve a title. No, like, go and earn it. It's a special reward that not many get, and he needs to earn it, you know? Massive season for him. Massive season for Arteta. The best team deserves it, exactly. Even people say, oh, this team deserves it. That's a good point, you know, and I spoke about this. I might do a video about this during the international break. Dusan Vlahovic. Now, listen, I'm not saying that's necessarily who I would go for. But what I'm saying is he's out of contract in the summer. So it'd be interesting because I don't think Arsenal would go into the market and spend big on another striker when they've got Gyökeres. But if you could get someone cheap, I haven't seen enough of him lately. I saw more of him when he was at Fiorentina. I haven't really watched him that much at Juventus. But yeah, he's on big wages as well, though. Let me have a quick look at his numbers. What's Dusan doing over there at Juventus? Dusan Vlahovic. What's his numbers this season? He's got 3 goals in 4 Champions League games and 1 assist. It's not bad at all. He's got 3 goals in 10 games in the league, so not great in the league. 10 goals last season in the league, 16 the year before. 25 years of age. Interesting. Do we want somebody slightly similar profile? I'm not saying he is similar to Gyökeres, but do we want, maybe we get somebody different, you know? They've signed a Pender. Curtis just wants to record a video. Daily Dusan. I just like that sound, you know? I just like that. Trixie said, imagine having Prime Jesus by Glock Space Invade. That could be a good combo, but yeah, maybe too late. Injured Jesus better than Gyökeres. That's harsh, man. People, man. He had a great 45 against Burnley, man. It's a shame he's injured, man. I think Gyökeres would have got goals this week, but is what it is. Big up Tyrell Gunner. He said, big up Curtis. Hope you're well, bro. And big up to South London's finest locked in people. We will look ahead now to a massive weekend of football. Just checking, by the way. Is it 4:30 kickoff on Sunday? Because it should be. Yeah, 4:30. So this weekend, double watch along. Pencil that in, people. Tomorrow is 5:30 kickoff, Sunderland v Arsenal. We will be live at 4:30 tomorrow, 5:30 kickoff. On Sunday, it's 4:30, Man City, Liverpool. So, but I only go live about 10 or 15 minutes before kickoff for the op-along. So I'll be live at 4:15 on Sunday. And as I said, man, I mean, listen, we need to beat Sunderland first before I look ahead. I think a draw's the ideal result, Man City, Liverpool. But I think if I had to choose a winner, I would choose Man City. Some people don't agree with that because they're saying Pep and Haaland, they're the biggest threat. I think momentum's a huge thing in football. And I think if Liverpool were to come out of this week beating Villa, beating Real Madrid and going to the Etihad and beating them, I think all of a sudden that steam train starts to gain momentum. And then, you know, if Isak comes back and gets firing, I still think Liverpool are a better team than Man City, to be honest. But they're not playing well. But we want the draw. We want the draw. That's what we need. Yeah, I think if Haaland drops form or gets injured, I think City slip away. But then AFCON's going to affect both them teams as well. But the draw is the result we definitely want. Let's have a brief look at the Premier League table. I think there'll be a lot of goals in that game, by the way, City and Liverpool. I just think they're going to go for each other because a draw doesn't benefit them that much when you're already playing catch-up. What we need to do is make sure we win tomorrow. I don't know where this confidence is coming from with me. And let me know in the comments, am I getting carried away? Am I underestimating Sunderland because it's Sunderland and they've just come from the Championship? Like, Sunderland have had a great start to the season. They have. But I am super confident we're going to beat them tomorrow. And I don't know where... I mean, why shouldn't I be confident? We've won 5 in a row. We're top of the league. We've conceded 3 goals in 10 games. If you've put me through 3 title races in a row. We're now into the 4th title race. If I can't be confident that this team is going to beat newly promoted Sunderland, then I'm sorry. When can I be confident? I think we go there. I think we beat them 2-0. I think we do a professional job on them, show them levels, and go 3-point collecting. I don't see why I shouldn't have that confidence. Listen, I know they're unbeaten at home, right? They're unbeaten at home. So I have to respect them. I'm not downplaying their ability levels, but come on. We've got to be beating Sunderland. Let me have a look at their form. Who've they played? Who've they... I mean, the Chelsea win was big. They drew 1-1 at home to Sunderland on to Everton on Monday night. I watched some of that game. Everton missed sitters in that game. Absolute sitters. Beat Chelsea, that was a big win. Beat Wolves at home. Lost to Man United away. Beat Forest away. Drew 1-1 with Villa. Beat Brentford. Drew with Palace. Carabao Cup they lost. Lost to Burnley. I mean, come on. The one thing I'll give them a lot of respect for, they're unbeaten at home. You know, they're unbeaten at home. So, you know, the Stadium of Light is never an easy place to go to. But come on, man. If you're going to win a league title, I'm sorry, you've got to go to Sunderland and deal with them. Be professional. I'm not saying I'm not saying I expect 4-0. I don't. But I expect Arsenal to win that game tomorrow. I don't care what anyone says. And I expect us to keep a clean sheet. And some people might think I'm overconfident saying that, but I think that's reality. We should beat them. I'm just looking at their lineup for their last game. Dan Ballard's starting for them. They play 5 at the back. 5-4-1. Crazy formation, very defensive, which you can see. They've only conceded 8 goals, the same as Manchester City and Tottenham. So for a newly promoted team, they're very well organised. Mukiele plays for them, who was in the French league. Decent player. He always used to have like team of the season cards on FIFA. Daniel Ballard plays centre-back for them, who used to play for Arsenal under 23s. He's done well for himself. Obviously, Granit Xhaka, Bertrand Traore, who was at Aston Villa at one stage. They've got that Isidore up front. Adingra, who's dangerous, quick. They got that Brian Brobby guy, who I used to call Mr. Blobby when we were linked with him. But, you know, he scored goals at Ajax. So, listen, I'm respectful of them. I don't want anybody to think I'm being disrespectful, but I expect us to beat them. I think we'll have too much quality for them. I think we'll control the game. I think if we see out that first 20 minutes when the stadium will be absolutely rocking, I think we'll beat them. And I don't think we'll concede a goal. I'm sorry, but I will talk like that because I believe in this team at the moment. And I believe we'll beat them. So... But listen, it won't be easy. This game, the next 3 games for Arsenal are absolutely huge in the Premier League. I know every game's massive, but when you look at the fixtures coming up after the international break, and including this one, Sunderland away, Tottenham at home, Bayern Munich at home, Chelsea away, that 4 there. If Arsenal can win them next 4, and I know people say take it one game at a time, but, you know, we're allowed to do this. We're fans. It's the players that can't do that. If we win that next 4, and you get us to the start of December, because if you beat Bayern Munich, you're through in the Champions League. You're through, right? Beat Sunderland tomorrow, beat Tottenham in the derby, beat Bayern, beat Chelsea. I mean, that's a long way to go, right? And I hope Jokeres is available for them games. We need his running. But I think people should take my attitude here in a positive way. Don't look at it as he's applying pressure to the team. We've had a lot of years as Arsenal fans where we've looked at the fixture list and we've been intimidated by games. Oh no, we ain't got a good record there, and they're good in defence and their wingers are fast and we're nervous and can we deal with the atmosphere? No. I told you, every game I look at, every game on that screen right now, I look at it and think, yeah, we're favourites for every single one of them games. Even Bayern Munich at home, in my opinion. With our back 4, you beat them. You've got to win that game. If you want to be levels, you've got to have that sort of expectation that every team that turns up, we're going to beat them. We're going to beat Sunderland. Tottenham at home, we're going to beat them. They're scrubs. Bayern Munich, all right, we lock down Kane and then we beat them. Diaz is out. Chelsea, we go to every game, you got to have that belief. Now, don't get me wrong, in reality, it doesn't always work like that. We're going to lose to somebody, we're going to draw to somebody. But we got to have that belief that anybody we're playing against, yo, we're on fire. We got the best defense in world football right now. You watched Real Madrid Liverpool the other day. That Real Madrid defense absolutely stinks. And that's Real Madrid, people. That's Hala Madrid. Their back four is awful. Absolutely awful. Dean Howson, I mean, come on. So I expect 3 points tomorrow, nothing less. Nothing less. I want to be doing that watch along on Sunday, chilling. 3 points in the bag. But let's see. Let's see. That's the confidence I got in the group right now, and that's a positive thing because over the years I haven't had that confidence. I've been going to Sunderland nervous. I expect us to win that game. Listen, anything can happen. Dodgy refereeing decision, a penalty, a red card, it can mess up a game. But I'm looking at Sunderland like, yeah, clean sheet, another one on the way. Marino, we do our thing. Sunderland, you're next. That's how we got to move. Surely we're confident. Any credit to Arteta for building the team. It isn't just about good play. Yeah, 100%. I've said many times on this show this year, Arteta is proving his worth at the moment. The problem is, Saeed, is that there's been other seasons, 22-23 and 23-24, where I sat there in November, in December, in January, in February, and March saying, wow, this manager's proven his worth. And then April, May, it all fell apart and we had nothing. We're empty-handed. So some people might think sometimes, oh, he doesn't praise Arteta enough. To me, a manager is mainly judged for what happens at the end. What have you finished with? So I'm giving him little bits of credit like, yo, you've created a monster of a defence. Do you know what I mean? And we're still scoring goals and we're top of the league and we're joint top of the Champions League. But ultimately, Arteta is simply going to be judged on, did you win the title? If we've got the best defence in the league and Liverpool win the league or Man City win the league, it doesn't mean that much without being harsh and critical. That's how I think most people are going to judge Arteta this season. Unfortunately, it's going to be based on what did he win. Everything else now is secondary. Like we've seen we can compete. We've seen we've got the best defense. We've seen all those records. The only thing I'm interested in with Mikel Arteta is, can you get us over the finish line? That's all. That's all. But of course he deserves credit. You know, of course he deserves credit. Get the likes up, people. Big up to everyone. 1,800 of you in the chat. Big up my bro Akeem. He said, you're talking a lot of smoke. Can't lie, I'm a bit nervous. Listen, every game a bit nervous. I was even a bit nervous at Slavia Prague the other day when I seen that giant up front. But that belief is there, man. That belief is there. Managing players' fitness will be key. Yeah, 100%, bro. Big up Unknown C. I said it the other day. That's one of his biggest challenges is, can you keep this squad fit? And can he deal with having to make the choices? Sometimes, in a weird way, it's easier when the team sort of picks itself. How's he going to cope having Gyökeres, Havertz, and Jesus available? Is he going to start messing around with the team? Oh, Havertz is starting, Gyökeres on the bench. Oh, Madueke is back, so I'm going to drop this guy, and Odegaard's in the team, so now Eze's on the bench. You know, having more choices might prove more difficult for him. If you look at Slot last season, it's like the team picked itself. He knew what was happening. Now he's had a massive change in the squad. He's sort of struggled a bit. You know, with having, do I play Ekitike? Do I play Isak? Do I play Verts Cam? Do I play him on the left? Do I play Kirkes? Do I play Robertson? Sometimes choice makes things more difficult, you know? I just wanted to talk about this story briefly. And we said, a lot of people said this, so those of you that did as well, big up to you. Gods on Jay said, Big C, love from Jamaica. Do you think we'll be able to deal with Xhaka? I hope so. He's going to be motivated. And he is in form, and he's got a point to prove because he knows how critical we were of him. So imagine his motivation for that game tomorrow. A story has come out today, and none of you will be surprised by this. This guy is This guy's a beast, man. I don't care what anyone says. I think this guy is one of the biggest signings that this club has made for over a decade. I'm talking David Dein. In terms of the man on screen, Andrea Berta. Story came out today. Andrea Berta pushed for the signings of Eze and Nkapia, despite the club's summer business being considered done. Now that is what we've needed for 15 years at this football club. We've seen it so many times. How many times have we sat here as Arsenal fans? Big up Laser Gaming, GTA 6 delayed again. I think we'll win the title before GTA 6 comes out, bro. How many times have we sat there in a summer and gone, yeah, not a bad window, man, but we feel a little bit short. We needed this, we needed that. And to be honest, I think the window was done. He squeezed the Eze deal out of us because Havertz got injured. We probably wouldn't have done that if he wasn't there. They'd have said, we got Gyökeres, we got Marino, we don't need him. Nkapia came out of nowhere, and look at the way he manoeuvred that deal. Couldn't put it as an obligation to buy because it would have gone on this year's PSR and we would have been over. So put it as an option to buy, but they wanted a guarantee that we had to buy him. So it's an option to buy if he plays more than a certain amount of games that is very low that he's going to play. So even the way he negotiates transfers, the guy is a beast. And I'm telling you now, Arteta needed somebody like that in his corner. He needed somebody like that in his corner because right now, Odegaard's been injured 3 times. Can you imagine not having Eze in the squad? Nkapia as well. Like, he's added 100+ million pounds worth of players that wouldn't have been at the club. And you'd probably be looking at us right now going, we're a little bit light, you know? So I love the fact that he was able to come in, lean on Josh Kroenke and say, Josh, we need more. We can't wait 4 months for Havertz to come back. Let's get Eze. Plus he's going to Tottenham. Nkapia. Chelsea were being linked with him 50, 60 million. We got him on loan. This is an outstanding signing. Even the way he dealt with Tomiyasu, people. Let's be real. Tomiyasu had 18 months left on his contract. Over years gone by, Tomiyasu would have just bopped around the club for another 18 months, picking up 100 grand a week, injured all the time. And we'd just be like, oh, Tomiyasu, yeah, he's always injured. This guy said, brother, in the office, yo, you're never available. There's a check. Thank you for your service on your bike. We ain't got time for that. That ruthless nature is what we need. Zinchenko, yeah, thanks a lot. You're out on loan. Your contract's up in the summer. That's you done. Yeah. Look at the stuff Edu was doing. And I used to try and give Edu a little bit of leeway because he played for the club. But some of the deals he did, Fabio Vieira, 35 million, Havertz, 65 million. Obviously, there are some good deals. He got Gabriel Magalhaes. Odegaard for 35 million was seen as good business. But this guy is a level above. This guy's a level above. So, huge signing this was. I genuinely think this is the game changer signing at the football club. They say Michael Edwards and Richard Hughes are game changers at Liverpool. I think this guy is at Arsenal. So amazing, amazing bit of business. Yeah, Raheem Sterling, you know, Marquinhos in tears. And yeah, the list goes on. Edu. And look what Edu's done at Forest. Man's gone to Forest and mashed up the place. That man made Europe last year. Got to FA Cup semi-final. Now they're in a relegation battle. Say no more. I'm confident he could get Rodrigo or the Leao deal done. Yeah, I mean, ultimately, though, he's going to be instructed on what positions to buy players. So, Arsenal, I don't think Arsenal will buy a left winger in January. I don't want to dim anyone's hopes. I just think Arteta loves Martinelli. He gave Trossard no, he didn't extend the contract, did he? He gave him a pay rise. So I think he'll allow them to stay at the club until the summer. Norgard is the one transfer out of every deal that we did in the summer that there's still a big question mark next to that deal for me. And I know a lot of people say, oh, he's a squad player, don't get carried away. Nah, I'm concerned. If Zubimendi or Rice get injured, I'm very concerned about the cover. So that's the one deal. Kepa, I think, was a good signing. Mosquera's been a gem so far. Nkapia looks good. Eze, we wanted that. Gyökeres happy with that. Madueke, to be honest, like I wouldn't have bought him for that price. Definitely not. But he's done a lot better than we expected. And all of a sudden, 50 million. Because we bought Eze and we got Gyökeres, it made the Madueke deal not look too bad. The Madueke deal I thought was a shocker because I said, you're going to miss out on Eze and Eze's going to go to Tottenham. But now, 50 million for a squad player, you're like, well, Doku costs 50 million or Mudryk cost 88 million. Wingers nowadays, even as squad players, can cost 50 or 60 million. So even the Madueke deal doesn't look too bad. I mean, it still wouldn't have been my choice, but it's certainly not as bad. And he excited us a little bit, even though his end product needs to be a little bit better. They reckon Madueke will be back after the international break and Odegaard. And they reckon Havertz will be back at the end of November. So, yeah, it's interesting. Sniper Scope, who do City and Liverpool have in the next four? We'll have a look. We'll have a look, people. Who have City and Liverpool got in their next four games in comparison to the Arsenal? So City play Liverpool, and then after the international break, City's first game back is Newcastle away. So that's a tough game as well. They've then got Leeds at home. That's a win. And they've then got Fulham at home. And then they've got Sunderland at home. So we need them to drop points in their next two because I think they win them next ones. So their next two games are Liverpool at home and Newcastle away. That's tough. And then Liverpool have got obviously Man City away. They've then got Forest at home. I think they'll beat Forest, although Forest beat them there last year, but I don't think they will with Deitch. West Ham away. West Ham look poor. Sunderland at home. I think they beat them. Then Leeds away. Then Brighton at home. So their run's not too difficult, which is what I'm saying, people. If Liverpool were to go and beat Man City, come back after the break, and they've got kind of an easy 4 games, I think there'd be a lot of momentum building. Even in the Champions League, they've only got PSV at home. They'll beat them. Liverpool could go on a 5 or 6 game winning run. You don't want that to happen. Trust me, I think Liverpool, they need to drop points at City. I think Liverpool beating Man City is very dangerous. But that's just my opinion. Brooklyn Gooner said, if we win the league and the Champions League, does this team become the best ever over the Invincibles? 100% for me. I think for Arsenal, winning the league and the Champions League would be bigger than the Invincibles, to be honest. I know people will say no one's ever been invincible in the Premier League apart from Arsenal, so is that a bigger achievement? But to win both of them in a season as an Arsenal fan, oh, mate, we can retire. As Arsenal fans, you could shut down the stadium and send them into liquidation and lock off the club. That'd be it. I'd say, yeah, job done. We've finished. We've done it. You know what I mean? That would be it. I could dine out on that season for 25, 30, 40 years. 50, 60 years. I'll run away with that. Yeah, but we won. But there's a long way to go. Is this team... I said the other day, somebody asked me in the chat, what do you think Arsenal have got a better chance of winning this season? The Premier League or the Champions League? I think the Premier League, because Arteta in semi-finals, he's made a lot of mistakes in semi-finals. I think we've scored 1 in our last 7 semi-finals. He makes strange decisions, and, I still think there's a lot of hurdles to overcome. Also, I think to win a major cup competition, you need a lot of individual brilliance. In tight games, you look at Barcelona, Lamine Yamal, you look at Liverpool, Salah, you look at Dembele and Doué and Kvaratskhelia. Sometimes I think we're a bit short of individual quality. So if you're playing a Barcelona, if you're playing a Madrid, a Bayern Munich, do we have that clutch attacking player that is going to pull something out of the bag and win us a Champions League semi-final? Maybe Saka, but I don't think we have a certified player that you think that is a match winner in a semi-final. Where I think in a league, just defending, nicking wins. I know we cooked Madrid, but we didn't cook PSG, did we? and we didn't have the individual quality to beat PSG, whereas we probably should have when you look at the saves Donnarumma was making. But we'll see. We'll see. You could argue that number one, Saka was coming back from a hamstring injury. Donnarumma was playing like an absolute Spider-Man in goal, and Dembele was having a Ballon d'Or season. They don't have Donnarumma. Dembele's not having a Ballon d'Or season at the moment, and Saka is fit. So maybe we could beat PSG, and Hakim is injured for a long period. So who knows? Who knows? Did you see the New York mayor is an Arsenal fan? Yeah, I saw that interview. And yeah, listen, he's an Arsenal fan, so he's he's got a bit of respect from me, just for being a gooner. It is what it is. People, right? Let's look ahead. Sunderland this weekend. Make sure you get the likes up. Let's get 1,000 likes. 2,000 of you live in the chat. 28 of you on Twitch as well. If you are somebody like me that I watch a lot of YouTube. I don't watch that much TV. Ben Foster's got an interview out at the moment with Oxlade-Chamberlain. Quite a good interview. It's an hour and a half. I've watched about an hour and 10 minutes of it. I just was watching it before I went live. Very interesting interview. And he speaks about Arsenal. And, it was interesting that he was saying, and I know this is quite old in terms of what he's talking about, but he was saying the difference between the Arsenal dressing room and the Liverpool dressing room was the demands. And I thought it was quite interesting. He was saying that Jordan Henderson never let you drop your game, even in training. And James Milner, he was saying, if you had a bad day in training, they were on to you. He was saying when he was at Arsenal, he was sort of saying it was a lot more relaxed. If you made mistakes, they let it go. And then he said when Thierry Henry came back on loan when he scored that FA Cup goal against Leeds, he said, Henry was hammering the players in training. If they missed a one-on-one, he was going crazy. If the standards weren't high, you know what I mean? And he said, wow, that's probably why Arsenal were so good when Henry was there, because they all demanded so much out of each other. And, I hope this current Arsenal team has those standards. I hope it's not. I remember a quote from Robin Van Persie when he went to Man United. They said, what was the difference between Man U and Arsenal? He said, at Arsenal, you wanted to win. At Man United, you had to win. And I really hope that standard has been set in this dressing room now, that we don't accept losing. I think it has, because you can see how we're celebrating clean sheets. It means a lot to them. So, but yeah, interesting. Not that, Oxlade-Chamberlain's what he says counts for that much, but it was interesting. I thought Ox was a good player at Arsenal. It was a shame when he went to Liverpool. That Gooner TV said, big question. Van der Ven and Romero are better than Gabby and Saliba, says Jamie O'Hara. Come on, I mean, O'Hara now, I see Arsenal fans get triggered by O'Hara all the time. I don't get triggered by him. He's playing a game. He knows what he's doing. TalkSport know that if O'Hara says something controversial about Arsenal, we're going to get triggered. They're going to get loads of views. They're going to get loads of interaction. I don't pay it no mind. Van der Ven and Romero are not better. They're not better than Van Dijk and Konate. Never mind Gabriel and Saliba. Gabriel and Saliba is the best centre-back pairing in Europe for me at the moment. I don't think there's a better pairing. Van der Ven and Romero, nah. Tottenham concede, man. They get beat at home by lower teams and all sorts. Nah. I do rate, they're both solid centre-backs, but he's just rage baiting, man. We shouldn't even give him airtime, to be honest. Ox was a mid player, was permanently injured. We never missed it. Do you know what? I think he was better than mid. He wasn't a top player, but he wasn't a mid player either. There was a point where, when we won the FA Cup, when we beat Man City in the semi-final and Chelsea in the final, man, I remember him. He was good, man. And when he went to Liverpool for a couple of years, he was good. But the ACL injury, mashed him up. Farhan said, I want us to win the Premier League first. If we cannot win both the Champions League and the Prem. Listen, I get why people say that, by the way, because, again, I was asked the other day, do you want the Prem or the Champs? I said I want the Champions League because I want the star above the badge. But I think if you win the title, there's a good chance you'll go and win the Champions League because that means you're a top quality team. I think you can win the Champions League without being a top quality team in your league, as we've seen before. We've seen teams that have finished fourth and fifth win a Champions League and not necessarily go and win the title after, So that's where it's intriguing. If you win the Prem, you're the best team in England. There's a good chance you go and win the Champions League, where you can win the Champions League and still not go and win the Premier League. But listen, as I keep saying, let's not even pick and choose. This football club needs to try and win everything this season. It's not likely to happen, but that needs to be the target. Carabao Cup, you're in the quarter-final. Arsenal should be the favourites to go and win it. FA Cup, go and win it. We're the biggest FA Cup winners in the history. Champions League, you've never won it. That defence should be the base that we can go and beat anybody in Europe now if we can keep them out. Premier League, you're top of it. Hang on to that for the rest of the season. Don't slip from top of the league for the rest of this season. That's got to be the mentality. We've got to have that mindset that, we're not picking, can we win that, can we win that? We need to try and win everything. Try and win 4, you might win 2 of them. Try and win 4, you might win 1 of them. But you make sure you win 1 of them. That's got to be the mindset. Thank you, that's what I said. Yeah, fine, yeah. I get it. I do get it when people say, go and win the league, because that means you're the best team. Once you're the best team, you might be able to win the Champions League. But we'll just see. My thing, and I've said it all season, and I stand by it, and not everybody does, if it's the FA Cup or the Carabao Cup only, I don't think that's enough because of where we are in this process. 2 years ago, if he'd have won an FA Cup and nothing else, I'd have said, great. I love the FA Cup. I think he's got to win one of the 2 majors, for all the backing, for all the time, for all the PR. I think he's got to win one of the 2 majors. That's just my opinion. Some people say if he wins an FA Cup, give him another year. If he wins a Carabao, give him another year. I'm not in that school of thought. I've Ten Hag won the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup. They were terrible. Ange won a Europa League at Tottenham. They still went. And now they're in a worse position than we are in the league, but this team is too good not to be winning trophies. So I think there's got to be a point where Arteta says, I can't get this team over the finish line. But obviously if he can, then you continue with him and hope that he becomes a great manager. I want the triple at least. Wow. I mean, Farhan's asking for even more than me. We win the Premier League or the champs. I'm running with that. Arsenal are great this time of year. April and May is when they fold, because they're the championship rounds. That's when you've got to really show what you're about. Get Wrecked said Palace won the FA Cup. Exactly. So they're very winnable trophies for clubs that are not even absolutely elite, if we're being totally honest. So we need to be going for the league and the champs as the main ones. But listen, like I said, I want Arsenal to win the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup. The Carabao Cup would be a great confidence boost. Winning that in March would give us so much belief going towards the end of the season. Right, people, Sunderland away. What team will we pick? Couple changes from the midweek game against Slavia Prague. Obviously, David Raya in goal. Centre-back, I mean, it's obvious. Gabriel and Saliba, absolute beast. We're looking for another clean sheet. Right back, Jurriën Timber. For me, I mean, now Hakimi is injured, could be out for a while. You're now looking at the world's best right back. I'm sorry. In fact, why am I apologising? No, I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry. You're now looking at the world's best right back with Hakimi being injured. The guy is an absolute monster of a footballer. I don't want to hear no Reece James conversations. I don't know how long Hakimi's out for. On the pitch. Oh, they're saying he could be back for AFCON, so maybe it's not as bad as we thought, actually. They haven't announced, actually, what the injury is right now. But yeah, Timber at right back. Left back, Nkapia played in the week, not fully fit. I don't think Skelly's going to play. He's going to go Calafiori, and let's be real. That's the first choice left back at the moment. Midfield, Zubi. He's trained, so he should be fine. Rice, best centre mid in the Prem at the moment. I said what I said. And Eberici Eze. Need a performance from him. Hasn't been bad, but hasn't been let it all work out level. You know what I'm saying? The best thing about Eze so far at Arsenal has been his announcement video. I don't know. I expect more. You know, I was very excited about Arsenal bringing in an attacking midfielder this summer. I said, you know, Rodgers, Cunha, Eze, go and get one of these. He's had a few good games. I thought Palace game scored a great goal. Newcastle away, Atletico at home. But I'm still watching him going, come on, more. I want to see more than that. Do you know what I mean? Like, we have to be honest at the same time, right? That's Savage Curtis. Bro, let's be honest. That's the highlight of him signing right now. Like, I want him to win us games. I want to see wow moments. Eze, for me, was always going to be, you're not constantly in the game, dominating the game. I'm here for that bit of brilliance. That's what I expect from Eze. A nutmeg, a pass, a drop of the shoulder, a shot. You are an individual brilliance player. I want to see more individual brilliance. I said it earlier on in the week. He looks shy. He's playing a little bit within himself, like, oh my God, I'm at Arsenal, my dream club, and I'm just happy to be here. That's not the mentality we want to see. I want Eze to be sitting in that dressing room saying, my aim is to be the best attacking player at this club. Eze needs to walk into that dressing room and go, okay, Saka's a baller, and Martinelli and Gyökeres, okay, I can be number one. I can be the best. So I'm sorry, and I know some people, as I said, people, other channels are available. It's butterflies, it's cupcakes, it's running through the fields. They'll tell you what you want to hear. Eze has not lived up to the hype as of yet. Is that down to the system? Is that down to him? Is he not as good as we thought he was? Let's also be open-minded to that conversation. Let's be real. I didn't watch Crystal Palace every week. The only thing I did is go on YouTube and skim through the highlights. And most of the time, he had a highlight moment, a great pass, a great little skill, a great goal. I don't know. I'm not saying he's been a bad signing. I'm saying right now, if Martin Odegaard is fit, he walks back into the team in the role that Eze is playing. That's the reality of the situation. So I'm giving cold hard facts, people. Giving cold hard facts. You know it, and I know it. Eze has not done enough to get Odegaard out of that role. So he needs to take this opportunity and start saying, listen, I know he's new to the club. I know he's going to take time. I totally agree with that. You know, I don't think Gyökeres has been great either. So it's not like it's just an Eze thing. But I'm saying the reality is, if Eze wants to play in that attacking midfield role, you need to do more. You need to put Odegaard under major pressure. And you're bringing out moments in games like the Crystal Palace goal, like the ball to Martinelli against Man City, you know, where he can't get back in the team. At this moment in time, if Odegaard's fully fit, he's starting. Eze maybe gets moved to the left. So let's see. I want more from him. I rate him at a level that I expect a little bit more than what I've seen from him. But he needs time. Technically, he's the best, but he's a little shy. Yeah, you've seen moments where you go, wow, that's amazing. I actually think Eze would benefit from having Odegaard in the team. So I actually think now his ideal role in this team would be with a lone six with two attacking midfielders. Now, he's only going to do that at home against weaker opposition, because that means Zubimendi or Rice gets dropped to the bench, and I think he wants them two in the team. So the other role for him, unfortunately, is probably playing on the left, but drifting inside with Odegaard playing attacking midfield. Then you can just lend Odegaard the ball and go and link up with people. But then you're going to need Calafiori to overlap him a little bit more. which he doesn't overlap that much because that wild horse is running all over the place. So, no, listen, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he's been bad. Like you said, the assist to Gyökeres, the Palace goal, the assist against City. But I think over the course of 90 minutes when you're watching him, you're going, oh, I want a bit more than that. Yeah, I feel you're better than that. So we'll see. We will see. Hopefully another good performance tomorrow. Jaden said, big up the community. Happy Friday and best wishes to everyone trying to be more active, Big C. Hey, big up, man. Big up to everyone locked in. Appreciate your support. 2,150. Big up the Twitch gang as well. Hit the like button and subscribe. The front three tomorrow, I think it picks itself. Trossard on the left. A player that I've been critical of, people, I'll be honest, because left wing is it's the position in the team that I most want an upgrade. I want a starting left winger where we're not turning up every week going, should we go Trossard or Martinelli? I don't want that. I want to turn up every week and go, yo, we're playing Yildiz. Yo, we're playing Rodrigo. We're playing Leao. There's no discussion. When Martinelli and Trossard are fit, it's like flipping a coin every week. Which one do you play? At the moment, credit where credit's due, Trossard is chipping away in terms of numbers. There's no doubt about that. He's chipping away. I think he's got 7 goals and assists. Like Trossard, he said, you're a hater, cuz. Trossard, man, no disrespect. Trossard is dreadful, said Afsar. I always ask the question, right? I always ask the question. And I want to put this thought in your brain as fans of football. I always ask the question, if that player left the club, what level is he falling down to? In the Premier League, if Trossard today gets sold by Arsenal, how far down the Premier League does he fall in the pecking order? I'll leave you to answer that question. And then you sort of figure out the answer from here. I think Trossard's a good squad player. I've said multiple times, I got no problem with Trossard as a squad player. I have a problem with him being the starting left winger and looking at him as a title-winning left winger. I don't think he is, but you might get away with him if you play enough good football and the other players are doing their thing and he's getting the ball high up the pitch. I mean, looking at the Premier League, none of the big clubs would take him, probably because of Arsenal, he's 30. Villa, maybe. Maybe Villa. Yeah, I think that's about the highest he's getting, to be honest. Maybe Villa. Maybe Villa. But listen, Trossard's playing well. Let me give him some credit. He's chipping in with numbers at the moment. Yo, big up Lee, man. Appreciate that, bro. He said, yes, Curtis in the chat. We're slapping Sunderland tomorrow. Like work. See, yo, optimism all over the place. I can't believe it. We're all happy right now, people. Everyone's happy. I said it before, we're just a reflection of the club. When the club are messing around, you're going to hear madness. You know what I mean? You're going to hear madness right now. Not conceding, winning games, everyone's optimistic. Don't mash up the ill feeling, Arteta. We're happy right now. Don't ruin things. The energy's good right now amongst the whole fan base. I like it. Say one more positive thing about Trossard. His grey hair looks nice. His grey hair looks nice. There you go. Who would you buy for left wing realistically? Rodrigo and Leao would be my top 2. Not everybody agrees with that. I get it. Some people think Leao's a bit of a show pony. I think he'll suit the Premier League. 6 foot tall, quick, strong, aggressive. I think even if he doesn't score loads of goals, he causes carnage on that left-hand side and actually helps Saka. Rodrigo, for me, is still an absolute baller. I know people think he's a bit lightweight, but I think he's so good technically. And let's be honest, he can't get a kick at Real Madrid. I would lean on him again in January and say, bro, I know you wanted to stay at Madrid, but you can't get a kick. Arda Güler and Vinny are playing on the wing. It's World Cup year. You've got to compete with Rafinha and Vinicius to play out wide. You can't afford to sit on Real Madrid's bench. So I'd drop an offer on Real Madrid again. But I think Real Madrid would sell Rodrigo at the right price. I think they'd go, you know what? 70-odd million quid on the table. I think they'd go, we're not going to force you out, but if you want to go, we're not going to stand in your way. But Yildiz is good. I haven't seen enough of Yildiz, though. I'm going to be honest. I haven't seen enough to say, does he come into this team and start lighting up the place on the left-hand side? Semenyo, I change my mind all the time about Semenyo. I'll be honest with you. I really, really like Semenyo, but there's still part of me that's like, I'm not quite sure with him at that price. 75 million for Semenyo feels like I'm being hustled a little bit. I don't think anybody from Bournemouth should cost 75 million. I'll be honest, I just don't. That would make him our what? Would that make him our second most expensive player ever? I think he's a 50 million pound winger. And you've got to be careful with players like that. I know at the moment people love Semenyo, he's flavour of the month. We've seen players in the past at clubs like that where they're on a run and you go, oh, man's a baller. You pay big money for him and you go, I like the fact that Rodrigo's been there and done it. Rodrigo's done it in a Champions League semi-final and a final. He's done it in big games for Brazil. He knows what that pressure's about. You know, Semenyo, for me, 50 million. I think you should be paying for him. I do like Semenyo, but I don't like that release clause of 75 M's. I think it's too high for a Bournemouth winger who's had a good year. 1 year, really. No, I read that one. Big up, Michael. Jan said, Curtis, OGs before IB. Okay, it's going to be an IB. What am I going mad here? What's IB? Is that IB man saying, or is it LB? OGs next week. We'll get that sorted. International break. Jamaica stream. 100k stream. OGs next week. We get it done. Oh, international break. Oh, forgive me, people. International break. Jan, big up. Nah, not now. Not now. Friday today. We haven't got it arranged today. Arsenal tomorrow. Man City, Liverpool Sunday. It'll be next week, definitely. International break. We'll have time on our hands, so. Salman said, what's up, C? Watch along collaboration with X when we play the toilet bowl will be epic. Stand up if he ate Tottenham. You can now do this thing, can't you, where you can like collab 2 channels. I don't know how it works with the views, though. Do the views spread across the both channels? Imagine me and him doing a joint watch along. That'd be crazy. That would be crazy. So he might be at the game, but then it's at the Emirates. Probably not. Let's finish off the team. Saka on the right. I think I've spoken enough about Saka in the last week. At least he got a goal in the week, but I want to see more. And Mikel Merino up front. We've just got to create chances. Samaz says, Semenyo all the way, better in the Prem than Vinny and Rodrigo. Vinny embarrassed himself the other day. I was disgusted with Vinicius Jr. the other day. From so many points of view, I was like, you have embarrassed yourself. He was a disgrace the other day. I told you, I said it the other day, we got to stop thinking that all Brazilians come from the favelas and they're all gangsters. They're not. Some of these are farmyard footballers, bro. I'm telling you. They were dribbling around sheep and cows because these men are weak. Get a little tap on the face. Vinny, what are you doing, bro? Not only are you getting pocketed by Conor Bradley, who's been getting dragged off in games this year. I've seen Brentford rip up Conor Bradley. Vinny, for me, I think the Ballon d'Or not winning it, something's just horribly wrong with his personality. He's changed completely. Not winning the Ballon d'Or hurt him. He's now getting little broed by Mbappe. Mbappe's like, thank you very much. I'll take the penalties. I'm going to score 35 league goals. I'm the one that's going to get closer to the Ballon d'Or than you are, you know, and I just think he's in his feelings, man. He's in his feelings. People who grew up in farms are tough as well. You're right, but you know what I'm saying? We're always like, yo, he's Brazilian, the favelas. No, they didn't all grow up in the favelas. You know what I'm saying? Solanke had one good season. See it there? There's a lot of players, man. I'm telling you, Semenyo, I'm putting it out there, and I know it. This is an unpopular opinion. Tread carefully with Semenyo. Trust me. I like him as a player, right? But the price, I don't know. I don't know. £75 million. Got 11 goals last year, to be fair, 5 assists. I think the numbers are too high, man. I think the numbers are too high. If you said to me now, buy a left winger, he wouldn't be the top target for me. I know, I hear this, Premier League. I don't know if that matters that sometimes, but who's the best player in the Premier League right now? It's Erling Haaland. He'd never kicked a ball in the Premier League. Does it matter if you've played in the Premier League or not? Sometimes, but sometimes it doesn't. I think 75 million is too high for Semenyo. That's me personally. He got 16 GA last season. In the league, Leao got 16 GA, 8 goals, 8 assists in less games. But listen, he's 1 year older. He'd probably cost even more than 75 million as well. I know, I get it, but yo, bro, the difference. I've seen Leao in the Champions League. I've seen Leao in the World Cup. I've seen him play for his country. I've seen him on the big stage. You know, Semenyo's coming from Bournemouth. Like, sometimes, yeah, you can come from there and just tear up the place. But like you said, Solanke, Kirkes, Howson, they've all come from Bournemouth. They all look trash. Do you know what I mean? Kvara was the absolute #1 winger that we should have signed, that we missed out on. That was the perfect winger. Can dribble, works hard, scores goals. That was ridiculous that we didn't go for him. He would have been perfect, even for the way Arteta plays. That was the absolute #1. Leao's won Serie A. See it there? Trophies, bro. Big levels. But here's what it is. People, I am out of here. Thank you very much for tuning in. Is anyone live? Anyone live to redirect, or are we out of here, people? I can't see anyone live at the moment. Anyone live? If not, we're out of here anyway. Leao is the perfect fit. I think he is for Arsenal, maybe not for Arteta. I don't think Arteta would like him. He wants pure defending out of his wingers. He don't defend that much. But anyway, I'm out of here, people. Big up to everyone. I'll be back for the watch along tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your Friday.